As far as ultra premium luxury SUVs go, there are very few SUVs in the world that sit right at the top of a pyramid. Now, amongst that, there is an even smaller number of SUVs within that niche that offer a complete range of capabilities both on-road and off-it. And right at the top of that pyramid, of that niche, sits one SUV which offers a complete 360-degree dimension of capabilities both on-road and off-road as well. Meet the 5th generation Range Rover, and it's now here in India. Being the all-new generation for the Range Rover, you'd see a significant amount of design changes, cosmetic changes on the exteriors. Of course, certain traditional elements like the Range Rover badge that sits flush across that hood. What you notice below that is this new honeycomb structure on the grille. This is an entirely new design and it looks quite impressive. Below that, you've got the lower bumper and the grille element, again with these sensors and cameras sitting all across here. Now, these are essentially for the advanced driver assistance features. Sitting right here are 22-inch alloys and tires. These are Pirelli Scorpion Mud Plus Snow pattern, which means gets you great capabilities both on-road and off-it as well. This design is standard, but again, customization levels mean you can change the alloy wheel pattern to what you would like. This one that we here talking about is the autobiography variant. We've got 3 variants. There's the SE, the HSE and the autobiography. And there is one more sitting above the autobiography, which is the first edition. Let me talk a bit more about this side profile. Again, like I said, monolithic design structure, very clean lines. You've got this fantastic roof line. It's got flush door handles, similar to what Mercedes-Benz offers on the S-Class, for instance. When you unlock them and open up the doors, you notice that the sill element, well, comes out along with the door. It's not separate from the door. Now, this is made of plastic, which is a good thing because anything that happens to the lower end, any damages for that matter, well, the plastic gets replaced. It's a cheaper substitute than, of course, previously, where the entire structure was aluminium and flush. If you look at this door, this is almost a 5-foot tall door. I'm 5'9". And if you look at it, well, this is a fairly large door, pretty heavy as well. But what Range Rover has engineered into this is that it can be held in place almost anywhere. The door won't roll back, and this will work up to about 10 degrees of angle when even if you're off-road for that matter. But here's my concern. When you sit inside this cabin and the door is fully extended, from the driver's side all the way up the handle is a fair amount of extension. I've got reasonably long arms, as you can see. Well, I have got to stretch all the way out to grab hold of this door handle. Now, the effort needed for me is pretty average, but for an elderly person or a smaller, younger person, for a child, especially a child, children will just not be able to, well, get this door shut. Similarly, with elderly people as well, aged people wouldn't be able to close this door. And I think it's necessary that Range Rover now adds in an automatic door shut function, similar to what Mercedes did on the S-Class and of course Rolls-Royce does on the Phantom. Now, one interesting aspect about the new Range Rover, of course, is the ground clearance. You've got a maximum of 294 millimeters of ground clearance, which is just insane, with additionally about 3.5 meters of wading depth. Now, that can be selected by going into the off-road 2 mode, where the adaptive suspension will, of course, raise the vehicle to its maximum settings. You've also got the normal settings, which will be used when you're on road. And of course, you've got one additional setting, which is the access setting, because, well, frankly, getting out of this SUV when it's at full height is a bit of a challenge. You could actually fall down. It's quite literally jumping off a cliff. So drop it down to access mode. What you notice is the car sits down evenly. All 4 suspension elements drop down to the lowest height possible, and that makes it easy to, well, get out of the Range Rover. Moving on towards the rear, what you'd notice in the profile is it's got this roof line that tapers towards the end. Similarly, the lower sill area as well, tapering towards that end, giving it that boat tail effect, characteristic Range Rover from generations ago. Here at the tail end, this is a fairly seamless, very articulated, nicely articulated rear end. If you look at it, all the elements sit flush in. You've got additional sensors on the lower bumper. Again, you've got these tail lamps. Again, these are, they've got a nice signature to it, but they also, if you notice that, Those are the indicator elements in there. Keep in mind, this one is the long wheelbase version, which means that its wheelbase is almost 3.2 meters, with the entire length of the car almost 5.2 meters long. It sits almost 5.5 feet tall as well. If you notice at the rear, you've got two shark fins sitting right on top over there. One is for the telemetry, and of course the other one is for the camera. With the new generation Range Rover, there are certain additions to the tail end as well, which keep in line with the Land Rover's philosophies for that matter. I'll show you this because this is critical. You've now got a split tailgate. This is interesting because Range Rover, or rather Land Rover, always believed in giving you this feature in all of their cars, where you can back up to a lake, fish from right here, or convert this into a picnic table, place your picnic basket right here, serve lunch, serve some snacks, a few drinks just off this table end. It's also got its own lighting for that matter, so you can illuminate everything that is in here. Another interesting aspect is you can use this as a backrest. So Range Rover, as an accessory, offers you cushions and pillows that you can sit on and use this as a backrest. It will take the weight of two full-size adults. Now, the Range Rover also has one of the largest boot areas that you get in the segment, about 800 liters of space to store equipment in here. Additionally, you can also fold the seats down. They don't fold entirely flat. Once you get the seats down, you've got close to about 2,200 liters of boot volume, and that is quite amazing. Now, Range Rover in India will be offering two engine options, a petrol and a diesel. There's the P400, which effectively means it offers 400 PS of max power, and the D350, which offers, well, 350 PS of max power. These are 3-liter inline petrol and diesel engines, part of the Ingenium family, of course, enhanced for the new generation Range Rover. Both of these engines come with mild hybrid capabilities as well, and they're mated to 8-speed automatic transmissions. This is a familiar cabin to be in. We've driven the previous generation Range Rover extensively, and it's quite a familiar cabin. There are certain elements that look or rather feel like they've been carried forward from the past, but yet it's got its own individual, very distinct identity as well. One big change, of course, is this new 13.1-inch infotainment screen right here in the center. It's a floating screen. Looks fantastic. The typography, the clarity, it's just brilliant. As well as accessibility. It's quite an amazing infotainment screen. Everything is quite intuitive, very easy, clearly explained iconography on that touchscreen. You've got a clear TFT display, a high definition display right here for the instrument console as well, right behind the steering wheel, paddle shifters. You've got the terrain response to control right here. Now this sets it into auto mode, but when you press down on it, it gets you into the manual mode, and you can select a variety of driving modes. That's the grass, that's the grass, gravel, and the snow mode selected. You can move to mud ruts, you can move to sand, you can move to rock crawl, to wading, and of course there's a configurable system as well, which allows you to configure a host of systems within this the way you want. Whether it's, you can even, in fact, it's got an active locking differential at the rear. The powertrain, you can have a relaxed mode, the normal mode, or a far more sensitive, responsive mode. The steering can be altered whether you want it light, medium, heavy, and a host of other features as well. There's just a lot of stuff in terms of electronics that you can access and use in the Range Rover. What you're seeing, this brown finish in them, is one of two trims that the Range Rover would be available in. The other one is a lighter, creamier for that matter, upholstery. And my recommendation is to go with the brown, less susceptible to dirt and staining. Now you've got these leather seats as well, but you've also got the option of using recyclable materials, but that is a customizable or rather payable option that you can get on the Range Rover. One of the interesting features, of course, is the new Meridian sound system, which is, well, not just tuned for getting out better music quality, aural quality inside this cabin, but it also sends out a noise cancelling wave, which makes this a quieter cabin to be in. What's interesting is that those speakers are also placed in the headrest, so that noise cancellation effect also comes directly to your ears, enhancing the quiet quotient inside this cabin. Some delightful thoughts added in here. One of them, of course, is this refrigerated box, and it gets pretty cool in here. You've got two settings for the refrigeration, and it will chill your drinks quite well. Now, right here in the rear seat is one of the places to be in, because this, of course, has got that executive package where you can see you've got these reclinable seats. This can be, well, adjusted for rake. Pretty fancy for that matter. You also get that executive package, which means you can stretch out on the rear cabin as well. Very luxuriously appointed, but a lot of the functions, and I do believe that the Range Rover has got just too much of electronic system, too many electronic systems on it. For instance, even the center armrest. Now, this is a 5-seater option. So there you go. This could have been a very simple manual control, but well, they've made it electronic. It's too gimmicky if you ask me, but what it allows access to is a touchscreen that lets you control various functions, which is the seats, the climate control, and well, a host of other features, blinds, lighting, the rear screens, everything. Now, some interesting elements in here that I'd like to point out, of course, is the rear entertainment package. Now, this fantastic sound system, fantastic video quality as well. With, you've got individual Bluetooth headphones. You can even connect any of your own Bluetooth headphones for that matter to these screens. But this is an optional package on the SE and HSE variant. You've got massage functions for these rear seats, and the seat heating and the cooling. I definitely like this because, well, you can just adjust it. You can simply adjust it from ventilated to heating, just touching a few buttons on the touchscreen out here. This is proper lounge-like. Here's another addition. You can adjust individual elements, whether it's the footrest. You can raise it, lower it, get it closer to you. With the calf support as well, you can raise that, adjust it to what you want, and this makes it very, very interesting. This makes it this is value being added into the entire into the Range Rover. Things like this attention to detail is something I have not seen on any other vehicle, and I think this is greatly appreciated. A lot of people who own this vehicle will appreciate something of this sort. This car was built for supreme comfort, and I'm quite looking forward to driving it and seeing just what that means when we're on the road. It makes me wonder that at the price point that the Range Rover exists in, 2.34 crores, somewhere 2.5 crores almost, where the Range Rover starts off at, going all the way up to about 3.5 crores, is a fair amount of money to be paying for an SUV of this order. And I could forego some of these electronic systems in favor of mechanical systems, simpler, less complicated systems, more accessible for that matter, and quicker to use.